My 26F husband, 24 meters, and my daughters, 5F and 3F, use me as a pillow. I have 3 children, my 2 daughters and then my son. My husband sleeps kinda on top of my arm and my leg, so I can't really move, and recently my daughters have been sleeping with us. My daughter sleeps on top of my other arm, and my other daughter sleeps on top of my stomach. My son doesn't sleep with us. I can't sleep, it's extremely uncomfortable, and I can't move my daughters because I can't really move my arms. How can I get my daughters to stop sleeping on me? Update: thank you everyone for giving me advice. I tried to look at every comment. Man, all these people saying ignore everyone who says tell them no to join a group etc. Literally be the parent and tell them they need to sleep in their own rooms. Man shrugging, you probably should start with the husband first and just tell him it's really uncomfortable. All the kids start sleeping in their own beds. It's not always easy, it takes a lot of patience and consistency. Try putting them in their beds at night and staying with them until they fall asleep. Then if they try crawling in your bed later, you walk them back to their bed, give them a snuggle, and sit with them until they go back to sleep. Repeat as necessary. Then you start training your husband to stay on his side of the bed. Maybe get him one of those body pillows to drape himself over. My son would wake up in the middle of the night, we would change him, and he would spend the rest of the night in bed with us. He grew to the point that his little razor toenails were right at the wrong spot and he would kick me in the balls with those talons. I got tired of it one night and put him back in his bed. Told my wife that we weren't going to keep putting him in bed with us and it was time for him to go back to his own bed. He cried for 3 hours. My wife rocked him, we sat next to his toddler bed, we left him there on his own. For 3 hours, it sucked. Next night it was half an hour. Next night he stayed in his own room without complaint. It's hard, but you gotta put your foot down. Buy £20 blanket for your husband. And be blunt but mature, tell your kids that it's bedtime. This is the only reply I really like. Everyone keeps saying oh just buy them X, Y, and Z. Sure maybe a night lie, but no, they are your children. You are the parent. Act like one and put them to bed. First you need to start easing your daughters into their own beds and out of your bedroom. You're setting yourself up for failure. Once you do that, work on your husband. Buy them some kind of new nightlight, princess bed canopy, glow-in-the-dark stars. Like something cool that will make them want to sleep in their own room. As for your husband, roll him over lol. Do the Ross Geller hug and roll. I am not sure I want to propose to my girlfriend because of our sex life. Short summary, we've been living together for a long time, 7+ years, and I do believe she is the one for me. We are happy, I miss her when I'm not around her, she is my first kiss, and the first person I've slept with. However, our sex life is non-existent and it's weighing more on me than ever before. In 2020, I don't think we made love more than 10 times. We're both in our late 20s. I don't know what to do. I want her to be my wife. I even picked out a ring. However, I'm afraid that it'll only get worse. Good gracious, the amount of fatalistic comments on here. Sheesh people. Communication is the way to start. Libido and sexual desire are very fluid and constantly changing, and there are a lot of things that affect that. Take into account that it was 2020, and that was an abnormally stressful time for everyone, and maybe that affected you both more than you realize. When you're stressed, depressed, anxious, worried, anything like that can mess with your desire to have sex. How was your sex life before 2020? Having an open and honest conversation about your needs and desires, as well as hers, is a good thing to do. Have that conversation without demands or embarrassment, which I know is easier said than done. Maybe visit a sex therapist, or consider engaging in affectionate physical contact without the expectation of sex for a while. Basically foreplay without the follow-through. Sometimes it is the feeling that you are expected to do other things that turns off the switch. Or consider trying new things. Tantric sex is amazing. Or maybe write each other naughty notes. Find sensuality and passion in the everyday with her before taking it to the bedroom. Honestly, the art of just making out seems lost lately, and yes, I know making out during during the age of social distancing is weird. Little things matter, and sometimes you just have to figure out what you both need. You have love, use it, set the embers, and just fan it, eventually it'll catch fire. This is something that needs to be addressed before marriage. Talk about the reasons why with her and see if it's something that means you're both not compatible with each other. We've talked about it a lot lately and she's been trying, however it seems to me she doesn't try to find legitimate help from a professional. We think the issue might be her birth control messing with her hormones, but it seems like it's not really a pressing issue for her, at least not pressing enough to schedule an appointment with the gynecologist without me pressuring into that. And I don't want to put even more stress/pressure on her. Just from a female perspective, when there are issues in my relationship, the main way that manifests is sexually. It's not a deliberate withholding of sex, but some issues can mean that libido disappears. I'd advise that you talk to your girlfriend about any issues that she may be having. It's not clear what this could be from your post, but here are some examples that have affected the sex life of myself or friends. Work stress/family issues/lockdown related, may have nothing to do with you. Desire for more romance/non-sexual intimacy. Trust issues after cheating has occurred. Body confidence issues. Thank you. I'll spark up the conversation once I'm home to figure out if everything is alright. We've talked about it in the past for sure. Even got to a point where she had sex with me because she didn't want to upset me. She wasn't in the mood. I told her this wasn't okay and she should feel 100% comfortable telling me how she feels, but it should certainly be a part of the relationship and should include both parties. I know that since we have a puppy together, he ruins the few times it's about to happen, but there certainly is a lack of sex drive and she has admitted this as well. The main issue I think I have is that it seems like it's a non-issue for her, since she doesn't feel like something is missing, and I do. If that makes any sense. I do know that I sometimes act too quickly and horny due to sexual frustration, and that certainly is a thing I got to work on. But I don't think that's the root of the issue. I read your replies on the other comments and wanted to weigh in. I've been with my husband for 5 years and am in my late 20s. I was on the depot BC at the start of our relationship and had been for years before we got together. My sex drive took a dramatic crash and I didn't even notice until I began to think about it one day. Once we only had sex one time in 3 months. My husband never brought it up and was incredibly sensitive to my feelings. I switched to several different pill forms to try them out and it got better with time. Due to the horrendous hormonal changes with each of them, I came off BC for 1.5 years. My sex drive immediately came roaring back. It was incredible. I'm currently back on the lowest hormonal pill on the market and my sex drive has remained the same. It is really scary experimenting with birth controls. It really messes you up mentally. But it's really important to figure out. Once she finds the right one, it should be smooth sailing if that is the problem. Wish you both luck on your journey. Thank you so much. First step will be to get her to talk to her gynecologist for sure. She should be able to help guide us. Could be 1, hormonal and could have a fix. 2, emotional and may need therapy to address, X, connected to trauma, etc. 3, external factors like stress, puppy etc. 4, you may need some tips for engaging in foreplay, both emotional and physical, that work for her. 5, some people just have a much lower sex drive. 6, health issues. 7, she may need to explore what she enjoys in sex. If she also came into the relationship inexperienced, she may need to figure out what makes sex amazing for her and hasn't gone on that journey. Or she doesn't feel confident communicating once. Lovingly let her know this issue is affecting you in the relationship and see if she is on board with guilt-free exploring with you which of these options, or another. There are countless options. It might be. And it might be wise to hold off proposing until this is addressed. But know that while this type of issue can lead to a couple deciding they are incompatible, this is valid. Solving a problem like this can also lead to a stronger marriage down the road. Give yourself some time to see which one, and make sure you talk about it safely and honestly enough that you both know what you are agreeing to and signing up for if you do decide to get married. One partner being dissatisfied or another feeling pressured into sex regularly can lead to major resentment, so you want to get on the same page as much as possible before marriage. Very few couples have identical sex drives and all have to find consensual respectful compromises sometimes or abstain due to health, long distance, etc. At times, this needs to be possible for you too if need be, but major discrepancies in libido deserve serious discussion regarding how you can both be satisfied, safe, and happy with this part of your relationship. Good luck. Wishing you both the best in sensitive discussions and problem solving. My 31F boyfriend, 40M, made a weird rapey comment about my brother, 28M. My brother, who's straight, hates my boyfriend, who's straight, because my boyfriend is older and recently divorced. My brother was over when my boyfriend happened to call me. My brother saw it was my BF calling because my phone was on the table, and immediately my brother started talking stupid shit in the background, just stuff like doesn't he have anything better to do, which my boyfriend overheard. I immediately yelled at my brother and told him to stop being so disrespectful. My boyfriend understandably said he was going to go and call me later, so he hung up. Later on I called my boyfriend and apologized for my brother's antics. My boyfriend, who is completely straight, then yelled a very strange comment in anger to me about the whole situation. Not that I'd ever want him to, but I'd make your pansy ass brother suck my D if I wanted to, and he'd do it. He later insisted he was just mad and didn't mean anything by it. While they both acted inappropriately, I've never had a significant other make such a creepy comment before. He's never hurt anyone to my knowledge, but he does have a bad temper. What do I do? How common is it for a straight male to say things like this? TL, Dr. Boyfriend made rapey comment about my brother out of anger and I'm still creeped out. What do I do? Edit, Lamau, thanks for the wholesome award. This is just more proof that rape is not about sex, it's about power and control. Your brother might be acting like a brat, but it sounds like he has a bad feeling about your boyfriend, and he's just choosing to express it in a very immature way. If your heterosexual boyfriend uses rape, or threats of rape, to assert dominance over another man, what's to stop him from doing it to a woman? This is just my humble opinion, but if I had proof that my boyfriend thought of blowjobs as a way to degrade and humiliate the person giving him oral sex, I would never, ever want to touch his DK again. Anyways, best of luck to you, op. Edit, op. You will get plenty of advice telling you to see Ommunicatew with YRBOYFRAND, but this advice is inherently bogus. I'm sorry if this is unsolicited advice, but when your boyfriend clearly communicates that he'd like to rape a member of your family, it's time to abruptly cut off all communication and go no contact with the boyfriend. Again, just my humble opinion. Yeah, that's weird and creepy and extremely meathead alpha rapey. Also low-key homophobic that he's insulting your brother by specifically saying he'd do it. For me, a bad temper is an immediate deal breaker. I guess it's up to you to figure out if you're willing to deal with your boyfriend saying nasty shit and excusing himself because he was mad. Did he even apologize or acknowledge how fucked up his comment is? High-key homophobic. Your brother makes comments about him having nothing better to do and your boyfriend's response is to make a rape threat. I honestly got the ages mixed up while reading and thought a dumb alpha type 20-year-old was saying this. A 40-year-old man is saying these types of rapey things. That's... yikes.